Here are some of the first things that you can do on Google Pixel 10 Pro right after the initial configuration. So if you just went through the first setup, I can recommend you going to settings, and then over here we can open system settings in order to find software updates. And over here we have a system update, so we can download and install new updates, which are usually available over there, especially if this is just a new phone right from the store. So you want to run the system update, and then in the meantime, of course, we can do a bunch of other stuff before the update is ready. So another thing that we can do is find the finish setting up prompt that you can find in the settings at the top of it, or you can even find a notification about it. Usually if you go over here, then you can find a bunch of different things that you had during the initial setup, like this one over here. We can set up using another device again, which is something that we could do during the initial setup as well. So this is pretty much like a second chance to do something that you didn't do during the initial configuration. In my case, I'm just gonna skip through all of these things, but for example, you can set up a screen lock password or biometrics and so on and so forth, which was also possible during the initial setup. However, if you don't want to go through that, then we can just close that, we don't care about it, and let's just go back to settings. Now, another thing that we can do is, of course, sign into a Google account. I assume that you have a Google account, and you might have logged into your account already during the initial configuration, but if you skipped that part, or if you have multiple accounts, then we can go to passwords, passkeys, and accounts, and then over here we can press add account in order to choose Google, and then you can sign into your Google account or accounts, which is of course recommended to do because without it you won't be able to go to the Play Store, as it is required to have Google account. Now, another thing that we want to do is go to security and privacy, and over here we can find, for example, the device unlock, which of course allows you to set up the password for your phone. So if you didn't do that, you can do that over here. If you go to the screen lock, we can choose the password type and so on and so forth. And once you set up the password, you can also set up fingerprint sensor, the face recognition, and there is also theft protection, which is also recommended to visit. Over here we can find identity check, which is recommended to set up. There is also the theft detection lock, offline device lock, remote lock, and the find hub or find my device. And once again, it is recommended to use these features in case you lose your phone or it gets stolen. Now, once we set that up, another thing that we can do is go to the Play Store. So let's open the Play Store. Let's skip that. And we can tap on our profile in the top right corner, and you should be able to find manage apps and device, where we can find updates. Here we can find the list of all updates that are ready, and we can download everything just by pressing update all, or you can press update one by one in order to set up everything manually if you want to. I'm just gonna update everything at once over here, and then we can let it download and update these apps in the background. Afterwards, we can open settings once again. And over here we can open the display and touch, where we can find a bunch of different display options, which are quite essential for some people. Like, for example, we have the dark theme, and of course we can disable the dark theme. If you prefer the light theme, then go ahead and turn it off over here. We can also tap on the option in order to set up a schedule if you wanted to. There is also the smooth display, which is actually enabled, unlike on the base model, the Google Pixel 10. The smooth display is actually disabled. In this case, it is already enabled, so that's good. Then we also have the screen resolution, which can be increased if you want to. However, of course, max resolution uses more of your battery, so you have to keep that in mind. And then we can also find the navigation mode, of course, so we can switch between the gesture navigation and the 3-button navigation. Unfortunately, by default, we cannot change the order, and if you switch to 3-button navigation, there is a chance that you will see this bar, but nothing in here, so you can go to the home screen in order to fix that. There we go. I'm not sure why this happens, but yeah, this is some sort of a little visual issue. And furthermore, we should also be able to find the adaptive brightness, of course, which is the automatic screen brightness. So we can change that up over here. And you can also find, for example, the screen timeout options. So they can be quite essential to set up and adjust to your needs. Of course, we can also find the battery settings, where we can show, for example, the battery percentage. I always like to see the battery percentage, so I'm gonna turn it on over here. And we can also go to battery health in order to find the charging optimization, which is recommended to use. And we also have adaptive charging, but you can also limit the battery to 80% if you want to. But I can understand when it is inconvenient to use, or if it is just inconvenient to use. And yeah, I believe that's pretty much it. So now we just have to wait for the update to be done, and just update your phone. Make sure that you are running the latest version of the Android. And from now on, you can just start downloading apps that you usually use on your phone. You can also go to, for example, Wallpaper and Style, and you can set up the visual side of your phone. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe.